Presented by the 2018 Honda Civic Type R. Like no Honda you've ever seen.
Welcome to Toronto's Rogers Center. And you're nervous, so aren't they? Having a little fun here before the start of this game. He's back at second base tonight. And the Blue Jays, they need some offense. 7 hits in the 2 games against the Yankees, and they lost both of those. Let's try to turn things around against Buck Showalter and the Baltimore Orioles. It's a 4-game series. Baltimore coming off a 2-game sweep in New York against the Mets, but they too didn't score very many runs. They won 2-1 and 1-0 in those 2 games. Take a look at the starting lineup for Showalter's Orioles. They won just 19 games for the season, but Manny Machado hasn't missed a beat. Going to be a free agent after this season. He's 7 for his last 21, hitting .323 for the season. And Chris Davis, this is one of the best home run hitters we have seen, and over the last several years, he's always among the top in home runs, but he hasn't homered in his last 84 plate appearances. It's been a real struggle for Chris Davis. Tonight they will face Jaime Garcia.
His 11th start of the season for Garcia, 2-4 with a .608 earned run average. His last 2 starts since coming off the disabled list have been very interesting. 2 starts ago, 7 innings against the Phillies, his longest outing as a Blue Jay. Last time out against the Tigers, 1 2/3 innings pitched, his shortest outing as a Blue Jay. He has pitched 6 innings in just 2 of his 10 starts this year. They need him to go deep against this team. This should be a good matchup. He doesn't strike out a lot of players, but he's got to throw a lot of strikes, and he's got to keep the ball down against some of these home run hitters.
A little different look for the Blue Jays tonight. This team has committed 37 errors defensively, and there's a new center fielder for the Jays tonight.
Kevin Pillar has made 60 starts out of 61 possible games for the Blue Jays. He will get the night off tonight. Randall Grichuk will take over in center field. The last time he played center field, June the 29th of last season. That was at Arizona, but remember, he signed as a center fielder, so he's familiar out there. He gets the start tonight out in center field for the Jays.
Now, he's done the majority of his work in the big leagues playing center field, so he's very comfortable out there. Well, there's no question the Blue Jays need to turn things around. They've just won 5 of the last 22 games, and they need to do something against the Orioles. Blue Jays a 12-19 record here at Rogers Center.
Orioles have struggled, like you said. They've got a worse record in the American League. Blue Jays have to, in these 4 games, I think, establish that they're a better team. And it starts on the mound.
And Garcia starts with a strike to Trey Mancini, the leadoff hitter. Only 3 of these Orioles in this lineup have faced Garcia. He's only made 1 start against the Orioles in his career. Now is way back in 2011. He was pitching for St. Louis at that time. He beat the Orioles 9-6 in that ball game and gave up a couple of home runs.
Yeah, 5 earned runs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. There's the numbers right there. Against Trey Mancini, I think you can elevate the ball against him. He's a very good low ball hitter. So I think especially with 2 strikes, you need to elevate.
No swing, according to the first base umpire, Tom Woodring. That's a breaking ball. When Garcia was really good over the 7 innings in Philadelphia, he was throwing to Luke Maile. And they threw a lot of fastballs and changeups, not an awful lot of breaking balls in that outing. He only threw 73 pitches over 7 innings.
That last pitch was a curveball in his last start. He used it about 7% of the time, only lasted an inning and 2/3.
Broken bat, base hit down the left field line. Mancini's digging around first. He's headed for second. There'll be no throw. So Trey Mancini gets a broken bat double to start the ball game. His 10th double of the season.
Yeah, I talked about getting the ball up and elevating it with 2 strikes against Mancini, but that time he just couldn't get the ball up. They want to go in, but that ball is not up high enough. That's about belt high right there for Mancini. You got to get up around the letters, and he can swing right through it. He just muscles that ball down the left field line for extra bases.
We mentioned the Orioles won 2 games in New York. They had 11 hits in those 2 wins, all singles. So that's their first extra base hit in 3 games. Adam Jones, a veteran center fielder, batting .288 on the season, 69 for .240. Jones shows bunt. That ball bounced in front of home plate. The Orioles, just like the Blue Jays, have really had a hard time scoring runs, so don't be surprised what anybody does as far as bunting, stealing, hitting and running, trying anything. Buck Showalter, the manager in his 9th season at the helm of the Orioles.
You know, I had a chance to talk with some of the coaches for the Baltimore Orioles before the game today, and they were talking about how they've been struggling to score runs dependent on the home run.
Mancini with a good read breaks for third on the ground ball out by Jones. So it's a productive at bat for Adam Jones.
So you're going to have to do the little things when you're struggling to score runs. Move runners, attempt to hit the ball the other side. Adam Jones did that right there to perfection. He knew that they were going to try and pound him in with that runner at second base and nobody out. He slowed his swing down just a little bit. And you can see all his teammates appreciating the at-bat by Adam Jones.
It's all about trying to win the games. Well, here's a dilemma for Garcia right out of the chute. Manny Machado hitting .432 with runners in scoring position. That's the second best mark in the American League. Man at third, 1 out. Good job by Maley. That's a tough pitch to block. He was given that high inside target, and the ball is bounced in front of him. You talk about clutch hitters. This is the best 5 clutch hitters in the American League.
To put this in perspective, the Major League average hitting with runners in scoring position is .248. Manny Machado is almost 200 points higher this season hitting with runners in scoring position than the Major League average. That's the kind of year he's been putting together.
Justin Smoke hitting .381 in these situations. Another breaking ball bounced in the dirt. That breaking ball not effective at all the last time that he pitched. Russell Martin getting the night off after catching the entire game last night. But when Garcia was really good against the Phillies, threw a lot of fastballs and a lot of changeups.
Yeah, and you mentioned not a lot of pitches either. Luke Maley does the right thing and just knocking that ball down and keeping it in front of him with that runner at third base.
That fastball just floats in there for a strike. It's 2-1 now to Machado. Machado over his last 6 games, 7 for 21 with a double, 3 homers and 5 ribbies. Trey Mancini at third base. Fly ball, a little looper into right. Granderson coming in, makes a sliding catch, but that's going to lead to the run. So Machado delivers the sac fly to right. His 50th RBI of the season, and the Orioles have an early 1-0 lead.
You know, Buck, that's why he is such a good run producer and such a good hitter. His ability to hit all types of pitches in all parts of the strike zone, but then cut his swing down when he needs to with 2 strikes and a runner at third base, less than 2 outs. He didn't have a full cut there. He knew that he was going to have to get the ball. Watch him slow everything down, plate coverage, just lift the ball into the outfield and get your team a run. That's a very productive run scored by the Orioles.
Got a leadoff double. Jones with a ground ball to short to move the runner from second to third, and Machado cashes him in. Here's Danny Valencia, the third baseman, and Garcia hasn't been close with that breaking ball. Each of the curveballs he's thrown this inning have hit in front of home plate.
Do you run away from it, or do you keep calling for it until he finds that release point?
If I'm catching, I don't call for it anymore because it hurts.
He's hit 3 of them, spiked 3 of them in front of home plate already in the first inning.
I tell you what, if he's going to get that pitch called for a strike, stay with that one.
Stay with that one. That one was right at the knees.
That's a changeup bounced in the dirt. Luke Maley and Garcia, they go over the hitters prior to the ball game, but Jaime will shake off from time to time. Another ball in the dirt. That's Martin said, boy, I'm glad I caught 13 innings last night.
So far early on, he hasn't been able to find that release point. Nobody on. You want to do the umpire justice behind the plate and just try and block the ball so he doesn't get drilled.
Let's see, with a big swing, and he fouls it back. It's a full count now on the Orioles' third baseman.
It's a good hitting team, the Baltimore Orioles, with a lot of right-handed power. Mancini, Jones, Machado, Valencia, Trumbo. You got a shot of him on deck. Scope. Lots of right-handed thump.
3-2 pitch. Ball in the dirt, ball 4. So Valencia draws the 2-out walk. That'll bring Mark Trumbo to the plate. Trumbo, another one of those big power hitters you were talking about. He's batting .289 for this season. Just 2 home runs. Garcia working out of the stretch with Valencia at first. Trumbo led the American League in home runs with 47. Just 2 seasons ago, 2016.
Started the season on the disabled list with an injury. Starting to round into form over his last 8 games. We didn't see Trumbo, did we, early in the year?
Made his debut on May 1st out in Anaheim, his former team. He played against the Angels. He was reinstated that day. 2-0 to Trumbo. Orioles with a 1-0 lead. Manny Machado with a sacrifice fly. Garcia having a tough time finding that strike zone.
All right, you might want to keep it down. Trumbo, we talked about the power. You talked about how he was a home run leader champ just a few seasons ago. He's only had 34 games in this ballpark. He's hit 8 home runs. So you got to bet that he's got the green light. 3-0.
High strike. 3-1 now. Garcia, we mentioned he spent some time on a disabled list. This is his 3rd start since coming off the DL. He had a shoulder issue. And Pat mentioned he went just an inning and a third last time out. Inning and 2/3. Popped him up. Gretzky in center field, moving over into right center, makes the catch. Garcia gets out of the inning, but the Orioles break out on top. A leadoff double and an RBI sac fly by Manny Machado. David Hess will make his first start against the Blue Jays. Run in the top half of the first. Curtis Granderson will lead things off. He's hit well against the Orioles this season. Here's the lineup for John Gibbons' Blue Jays. Granderson, the leadoff man, batting .213 for the season. But he got off to a good start against the Orioles. A home run and a couple of RBIs, 4 for 12 against Baltimore. Teoscar Hernandez. He has done well against the Birds. A .370 average with 3 doubles, a home run, and 3 RBIs. He's batting .247 for the season.
They will get David Hess tonight, his 5th career start, 3 quality starts in his first 4 starts. 2-2, .347 earned run average. Over his last 2 starts, he's kind of put it into gear, just a run in 12 2/3 innings pitched. Opponents batting just .186 against Hess. Impressive start to his major league career. If there's one blimp, I guess, for him, he's given up 5 home runs already this year in 23 1/3 innings.
5 home runs, including 3 to the Boston Red Sox in 1 game. Ball on a strike to Granderson. Curtis batting .213 for the season, 4 homers and 16 RBIs. A cutter in on his hands.
That is a well-placed pitch right there where Granderson couldn't get any extension. Hard to keep that ball fair. You can see him try to pull his hands in. Catches it out in front, hits it right off his calf. Hess is a strike thrower. He has only issued 6 walks this year in 4 of his starts.
Bounce that one in the dirt. It's 2-2 now. Hess is 24 years old. He was originally drafted in the 5th round by the Orioles in 2014. Decent numbers in the minor leagues. Popped out of play. He started the season this year in AAA Norfolk, and he pitched well in 6 starts. He had a 2-0 record with a .212 earned run average. But he spent 2 seasons in AA Bowie, 2016 and 2017. Another cutter. Good late movement on that pitch.
Set a career high in wins last year with 11 in AA, and the Orioles have been looking for pitching for years, and it looks like they've developed one of their own now.
That changeup missed downstairs. It's a full count to Granderson. This is what he does. He makes a pitcher throw a lot of pitches, and it's really valuable to the on-deck hitter when you're facing a guy you've not seen before. You get to see everything he's got. Pulled foul.
Tell you one thing he has is a nice little cutter that's got a little bit of movement right at the end. This is our first chance to see David Hess. Fastball, slider, curve, changeup, but the fastball looks like it's got a little movement, and he'll use it.
Swing and a drive. Get up, ball. Get up. Get out of here. Gone. Curtis Granderson has tied it. For Granderson, his 5th home run, and you mentioned it. Hess has had problems with the long ball. That's the 6th home run. He has surrendered.
A home run now in 4 of his 5 starts. All 9 runs coming into this game that he has allowed have come via the home run. That's now 10 runs on home runs. A little cut fastball down and in, and he just drops the head on it. The O's have had their trouble in the 1st inning. That's 65 runs now that they've given up in the 1st inning, by far their biggest inning this season.
Solarte lifts a fly ball to left. Mancini waits on it. That's the first time. Well, Curtis Granderson hits this home run, his 46th leadoff home run.
Watch the ball cut down and in. Remember the ball he fouled off of his calf a few pitches ago? This time he's able to get the barrel of the bat out front, pull it to right field, and it's no doubt that is out of here to tie this game up.
For Granderson, that's his first home run since he homered in Philadelphia on that past road trip. Teoscar Hernandez takes a strike. Fouls out, one back. Got a couple of pretty good pitches to hit.
He was telling me before the game, I said, have they started pitching you just a little bit differently now that you're starting to establish yourself, that you're a home run hitter? He said, I used to see a lot of balls inside. Now I'm seeing a lot of breaking balls away. There's another one right now. He's trying to pitch away from his power. He can handle that inside fastball.
9 for 36 over his last 8 games. Fastball away, covers it, stay alive.
I think for Teoscar, you have to stay on the fastball. You don't get to a breaking ball type of count. You look for the fastball, and he's had a couple of fastballs to hit already in this at bat. I think if you stay on the fastball, be ready to hit it. I think you can then adjust to the breaking ball, something off speed, but you got to be ready to hit that fastball.
High pop-up behind home plate. Austin Wynns, the catcher, watches it sail back over the screen and out of play. You got a pretty good pitch to hit. That high breaking ball stayed right out over the plate, and he popped it up.
And he made a nice adjustment. You can see what he did with his hands. He stayed back just a little bit longer, recognized, didn't let that ball travel. He just missed it. Fouled it straight back.
Two balls and two strikes. Another fastball foul off. Manny Machado with a sacrifice fly in the top half of the inning. Curtis Granderson with a solo home run in the bottom half.
It's got to be very demoralizing, I think, for a team that you come in here, you score a run in the first inning, you feel like you're getting that momentum. A couple of pitches into an at bat, you're tied again. Get the crowd into it. Blue Jays have a chance to hit some home runs tonight.
Hess continues to throw that fastball. Another good at bat by Hernandez. He's fouled off a couple of tough pitches. Full count, 1 out. Ground ball to the third baseman. Danny Valencia across the diamond in time, 2 away. Take a look at the rest of the defense for the Orioles. They've committed 40 errors. The outfield, Jones, Mancini in left, and Gentry in right.
And they've got some outfielders who can throw. The Orioles are second in the American League in outfield assists with 13, behind the Los Angeles Angels, who have 15. Trey Mancini has 7 of them, all by himself, tied for the most in the American League.
He and Cole Calhoun of the Angels both have 7 outfield assists. Here's Justin Smoke. Well, you got to commend Hess. He keeps pounding that fastball in there for a strike. Hess is working to his former minor league catcher, Austin Wynns. They were together in Double-A at Bowie.
That's got to help, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does help. It's a good visual for the pitcher. There's that familiar Smoke shift, if you will. Machado, Scope, and Davis on the right side.
Yeah, when you can get familiar with your catcher and you can get a game plan together, it's just got to make you feel good when you're facing a team for the first time.
This is just the second big league game for the catcher, Austin Wynns. Pretty good looking pitch right there. 3-1. Kevin Pillar, Russ Martin out of the starting lineup tonight. For Pillar, just the second time this season he's not started. 3-1 pitch to Smoke. Right on the corner. Wynns, the catcher, did a nice job of receiving that fastball. If Smoke will reach, Kendrys Morales will hit here in the first. Swing and a miss. Hess with a strikeout, but the leadoff home run by Curtis Granderson ties it up for Granderson, his 5th of the season, his 46th career leadoff home run.
10 years ago this month that the Blue Jays and John Gibbons parted ways the first time around. You may remember then the Blue Jays had lost 13 of 17, were 4 games below 500. At the time, Gibbons said you could sense the storm clouds were coming. Now, here we are, and the Blue Jays are 5-17 in their last 22. I asked Gibbons today if he feels the same way, and John, as you may suspect, laughed and said, when you first have these jobs, you're more aware of things like that. The longer you're around it, I don't even give it a second thought, and you can't let it bother you. And then in a vintage Gibbons way, as we've come to know him, he paused, chuckled, and said, I'll tell you one thing, there'll be no third time's a charm, I'll guarantee you that.
Vintage Gibby for sure. But yeah, you know, when you start to hear the rumors and people start to rumble, well, I'll tell you one thing. From my perspective, watching this team play, John Gibbons has had nothing to do with their record.
Well, he can't run it up there for the pitchers. He can't hit it for them. He can't catch him. You can push the buttons. I like that he's trying different things. We've seen him try to bunt, sacrifice, hit and run. Try to do something offensively to get the offense moving just a little bit. But they have really stalled offensively. They just haven't been able to manufacture runs or string hits together. Helped to have his bat in the lineup, Josh Donaldson.
Yeah, Josh was really out early, taking a lot of ground balls. He took a full round of hitting all by himself, basically. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Scope in there for a strike. Donaldson is eligible to be activated off the DL tomorrow.
But he was saying, until I can run sprint full speed, I can't be activated, and I don't think he's done that just yet.
Diaz in the hole, across the diamond. Nice play by the shortstop.
He's done everything else. Fielded ground balls, hit like you were saying, throwing. There's Josh out here early. This was around 3:30, 4 o'clock today. Working on his defense. Took a long round of batting practice. But he said the last hurdle, and he hasn't gotten there just yet, is sprinting. Running around the bases where you feel nothing. And I said, well, what does it feel like? He says, there's just something in there grabbing me. And if you've ever seen Josh Donaldson, his calves are as big as my thighs.
Yeah, he's got like 2 shot puts in there for calves. They're huge, and you know they're tight right now. And yeah, I'm with you. I got to see him run the bases, and he's got to do that. I haven't seen that yet.
He says, I've done so much stretching. He goes, I'm so tired of stretching. That's all I do to try and keep my calves loose. But there's just something in there that's prohibiting him from sprinting.
But hopefully he will be back soon, and Blue Jays surely need his bat. This is Chris Davis. He has had a very puzzling season. He's batting .155 with 4 home runs and 15 RBIs. And he has really been a mystery. Everybody involved with the Orioles trying to figure out what has happened to Chris Davis.
May 9th. That was the last time that Chris Davis has hit a home run.
Over his last 19 games, he has 7 hits, hitting just over 100. And the curveball that misses, it's 2-2. I mean, you can get off to a slow start. You can have 2 or 3 weeks out of the chute where you struggle, but now we're into the 2nd week of June just about.
And he's been around a long time, and he knows how to hit.
The breaking ball down and away, and he's going to be out as Maley throws to first. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. That is a rough one. And the Tigers, you know, they don't have that juggernaut offense, but Leonis Martin homered off Beeks. And they have put up 5 runs. The Red Sox have already gotten 1 back. And Andrew Benintendi, who's been as hot as anybody, hit his 11th home run. off Matt Boyd to get one back in the bottom of the first.
Who's on the disabled list for the Red Sox that he has to start? I saw Stephen Wright make a start the other day. There's Price and Sale and Porcello.
Pomerantz is on the DL.
Pomerantz went on the DL. That's right. Just
he
a
went
couple
on
of
the
days
DL
ago.
and they put Wright in there, and they want to spread out the guys so they don't wear them down. So that's why they have this spot start. They're playing a long stretch of games where they don't have any off days. 1-1 to Craig Gentry. Gentry playing in right field tonight. He's a journeyman big leaguer. Bounced around from team to team. He's got some speed. We have seen him with Texas. We have seen him play center field a lot in his career. But with this Orioles team, he's not going to get too many opportunities in center field with Adam Jones there. Another swing and a miss. Ball in the dirt. Maley throws to Smoke. A couple of strikeouts for Jaime Garcia. Much better in the second. 2 strikeouts, 3 up, 3 down.
For experience to catch every moment this season. Get Blue Jays home screen icons and features such as MLB TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, broadcast stats, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. Marcus Stroman's road back to the big leagues continues. He's scheduled to throw 3 innings in a simulated game tomorrow, and the Blue Jays buck will determine next steps after that.
Yep, got to build him up so he can come up here and at least have the preparation to pitch 6-7 innings, so I'm sure there'll be a few more starts. This is Kendrys Morales. Morales in the game last night. Had a booming double off the top of the fence in center field off of Aroldis Chapman with 1 out in the 13th, but he would be stranded there. He was 2 for 5 in the game. The Yankees threw him a lot of fastballs.
A lot of fastballs yesterday. Teams have been throwing him a lot more breaking balls. They threw him fastballs. He had his 8th multi-hit game of the season.
Trey Mancini makes a nice play on that sinking liner off the bat of Morales. Mancini's made a nice transition to the outfield.
Yeah, played some first base early in his career. That's why we wanted to highlight him on defense tonight. Got a good break on that ball. Catches it about thigh high to take a hit away from Morales. I like that Kendrys is going the other way on pitches that are away from him.
Yeah, hit that ball well. Been swinging the bat much better of late. Luke Maley. Maley batting .272 for the season, 3 homers and 15 RBIs. Luke's done a nice job in backing up Russell Martin tonight. He's making his 26th start of the season.
Got off to a great start offensively, and he was saying today goes, you know, I knew I had an offer going, but I wasn't real sure that it was in the 20s. But he said he's been feeling pretty good at the plate again, and it's just a matter of just getting that consistent playing time and getting a good frame of mind. He says, I gotta wipe my mind clean at times and not worry about, you know, what my stride looks like, where my hands are. Just go up there and see the ball and hit it.
You know, that's what you and I were taught when we started playing pro ball. It's just get a good pitch to hit, see the ball, and swing the bat.
What's the line? Did Yogi Berra say you can't think and hit at the same time? I dropped that line on loop today, and he says you're right. You can't be thinking about where your hands are or where your feet are or what the guy's trying to do to you and try and hit.
No, he got a good pitch to hit and found it straight back, that high breaking ball. Devin Travis getting a part of this game off. He did not start. Another good swing by Maley. Stays alive.
They tried to front door that cutter right there, and he missed his spot. Luke is seeing all of his pitches. That's usually a good sign for hitters.
Yes, he did. He went around. He is called for the swing and strikes out. Good curveball gets Maley. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball. Two-way here in the bottom of the second in a 1-1 game. David Hess has retired 5 in a row after the leadoff home run to Granderson.
Another foul ball off the cutter. Well, we got a chance, Buck. Glad to be back.
Good to have you back.
I've missed you for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, you had an extended stay. You had a couple of your boys graduate from high school. That was pretty cool.
That's right. Got to go home and be there for both of their graduations. Now we get to get back here and hang out with you again.
Good to have you back.
Thank you, brother.
Ball on a strike to the Blue Jays shortstop, Aledmus Diaz. Blue Jays are getting some fastballs to hit. Diaz a little disappointed he fouled that one back. He's a good fastball hitter. That was a pretty straight fastball on the outer half of the plate.
They've looked pretty comfortable. This is now just the first time through. Second time through, I think it's going to be very interesting.
And a little pop-up into shallow center field. Jones comes in a quick inning for David Hess. 3 up, 3 down. He's retired 6 in a row after the home run.
Bay here at the ballpark, and you can give Dad the gift of baseball and join in the WestJet flight deck for the Dad's Den. That's Sunday, June 17th, when the Nationals come to town. A 1:07 p.m. start. BlueJays.com for tickets, and there is Canada's most famous father, Walter Gretzky, the ageless Walter Gretzky, now 79 years young.
Yeah, it's great to see Walter here. He has been a baseball fan over the years. I've had a chance to spend some time with Walter, and wow, that'll be a special Father's Day again for him. Austin Wynns pulls the first pitch on the ground to the third baseman, Gio Urshela. One pitch, one out here in the top of the third. Jaime Garcia getting zeroed in a little bit.
Had an extended first inning, giving up that double sacrifice fly and then a walk, but seems to be zeroing in lower parts of the strike zone. A couple of strikeouts last inning. He's getting some chase percentage on that changeup. It's rising over his last few starts.
Back to the top of the order, Trey Mancini had a leadoff double, came around to score on the sacrifice fly by Manny Machado. First pitch strike. Mancini came into this game batting .231. There's a good changeup. And that's the formula that was so effective for him 2 starts ago. Fastball changeup. He's got such great movement on his fastball. He sinks it, he cuts it. The catchers have told me they'd like to see him throw the 4-seam fastball to the glove side, the 2-seam fastball to his arm side.
1 in, 1 out versus the lefties or versus the righties. There's another good pitch right there. You mentioned that his fastball can move all over the place. I think there's times where he throws it, he's not really sure where it's going to move. That time it stayed on line and chewed up that outside corner. Got a little bit of a cutting action on it right there. And Luke Maile does a good job of framing it up for him. That's his 3rd strikeout in his last 4 batters.
That is that arm side fastball he got on the outside corner. Adam Jones, he grounded out, but it was a productive out as he moved Mancini from second to third. That set up the sac fly for Machado. 2 outs. Nothing like a first pitch strike. Changes the entire complexion of the at-bat.
We talked about it in the opening. Aaron Sanchez against the Tigers was very good. Followed up by Marco Estrada against the Yankees. Sam Cavillio the night before.
Hot shot, one hopper to the shortstop. Smoke does a nice job, and just 6 pitches for Jaime Garcia. 3 up, 3 down. Garcia set down 7 in a row. The season swinging the bats, but over the last 18 games it has been a mighty struggle for the entire team. As a team, they've hit under 200.
which ranks 30th in Major League Baseball, last, averaging about 3 runs a game, which is tough to win when you're just hitting and scoring just 3 runs a game. The biggest one that surprises me, they got off to a great start this year hitting with runners in scoring position. And it looked like they were finally making the move of hitting the ball the other way, shortening up their swing with 2 strikes. It's dried up, though, over the last couple of weeks.
Brando Grichuk jumps on that first pitch and rips it down into the left field corner. He's headed for second. Here's the throw from Mancini, not in time. A leadoff double for Brando Grichuk, his 4th double of the season.
He's putting the time in down in the batting cage, trying to get those hands to work inside the baseball. It felt like he was going around the ball too much, doing drills to keep those hands inside the baseball, and that time he stayed inside the ball. Hooked it down the left field line, trying to do one-handed drills with the left hand to get the hands first, then the top hand to get the bat head to follow. Starting to produce some extra base hits now.
Gio Urshela hits one in the air down the right field line. Gentry's got good speed. It's not that deep, and Grichuk's going to have to hold. So Urshela pops out to shallow right field. He can't move the runner along. So that'll turn the lineup over now with 1 out. Curtis Granderson will step in the box. Granderson homered his first time up, his 5th home run of the season, his 46th career leadoff home run. The high strike for strike 1.
I like watching him hit. He hit that home run with 2 strikes. So he choked up just a little bit to be able to control the bat head just a little bit more. Now you can see early in the count, he's down on the knob of that bat. Looking for an extra base hit.
Breaking ball lifted in the air to shallow left field. Long run for Mancini, but he's going to get there to make the catch. So Grichuk still at second after the leadoff double. Now there are 2 outs. Well, that's the one thing, and you mentioned it early on, how the Blue Jays were so good at hitting in the clutch, moving runners along, and they've not done it lately. And it's been reflected in their inability to score runs.
Yeah, you can't hit home runs all the time. I don't care who you are. It's just one of the toughest things to do in all of sports is to connect regularly and hit home runs. So you have to figure out other ways to score runs. Here's a perfect example right now. Leadoff double. You got to cash them. You got to find a way to try and cash that run.
You remember, and I'm sure you were told this from time to time, with the runner at second and nobody out, coach look at you, says, I don't care how you do it, you got to get him over. If you have to bunt it, but you need to get him over.
And I think players have the leeway to do that if they feel more comfortable bunting and giving themselves up. But as long as you advance that runner, go ahead and do it.
I mean, I'm sure there are times you felt like, okay, I can handle a bat against this guy, and I know I can hit it to the right side of the infield, but there are certain guys that you have to think bunt first. That's a pretty interesting scene there on the bench. After Urshela popped out to right, Donaldson obviously talking about that at bat and how you can be more productive in that role of an extra player.
You're so right about moving the runner depending on who the pitcher is. There were times where I felt more comfortable against certain pitchers swinging away to try and move the runner, not giving myself up, but trying to move the runner with a base hit. Then there were other pitchers, the Jack Morrises and the Dave Steebs, where I was like, you know what, I think I'll square around. and I have a better chance of moving that runner by laying the ball down. But that's been the lost art, though, over the last few years, the sacrifice bunt. It's basically been taken away.
Yeah. It's been de-emphasized to the point where nobody practices. There's a good changeup for a strikeout, and the Blue Jays waste a leadoff double. They can't move Grichuk off second.
just got on with that stand-up double. When Grichuk was on that rehab assignment, the key messages he gave himself: just don't be pressing. It's a long season. You can have 100 bad at-bats, then 100 good ones. It'll all even out. So it's a more level-headed Grichuk who has returned after a tough April and absent May. Now, the key sign for him that he's turned the corner is barreling the ball. He told me this week, if I'm doing that, then things are going in the right direction. Grichuk said, if I'm consistently barreling the ball, that's when I'm locked in. Buck?
Okay, break that down, Pat. Barreling the baseball, what's that mean to the average fan?
Hit it hard. Just square it up. The question becomes, well, how do you square it up? Everybody knows when you're hitting the ball hard, you're going to start feeling good, and the hits are going to start coming. Well, how do you do it? He's spending a lot of time in the batting cage with Brooke Jacoby, working on the mechanics of hitting to try and get that barrel out in front.
Hit the baseball with the barrel of your bat. It's a sweet spot, about 3.5 inches long. That's it. And if it's not there, it's not going to be squared up, not going to be barreled up.
Unless you're Manny Machado, and that 3.5 inches is about 6 or 7 inches, because he is such a good hitter.
Machado drove in the Orioles run with a sacrifice fly to right field his first time up. 1-1 ball game, top of the fourth. Machado will be a free agent at the end of this season. He'll turn 26 in July, and everybody is talking about where's Manny Machado going to be traded. And, you know, everybody can speculate the Orioles are going to trade him, but I don't think it's anything close to a done deal.
Here's the only thing you have to think about if you're going to trade Manny Machado. Can I do better than let the process leak out and let it happen? Can I do better than a compensation pick, which you're probably going to get for him? If last year is any indication, I don't think you're going to get fair market value for Manny Machado. People, teams, GMs are just reluctant to give up their top prospects. Those are like gold nowadays. And they just don't want to give up those blue chip prospects for a 2 or 3 month rental. So the Orioles have to think, okay, if I let the process play out, Manny Machado ends up signing somewhere else, and that's not a given. Who knows what's going to happen? But if he does, and he ends up signing somewhere else, they're going to get compensation. Are you willing to take that compensation and hope to get a good player, better than the one that you might trade for?
Yeah, the climate changes, of course. You want more teams in contention at the end of July, and you want more teams with a need. And shortstop's where he wants to play. He has moved from third base to shortstop. Off the end of the bat. Hernandez broke back. Now he comes in. And Machado's retired.
Well, a team has to have a need. They have to need them. Then they have to be willing to part with some of their prospects. I mean, remember when Corey Seager got hurt? The next day, everything was filling up with, oh, Manny Machado.
He's going to the Dodgers.
Well, that hasn't happened, and I don't think the Dodgers want to trade their best prospects. They've shown that they don't want to trade their best prospects. Now, are you going to get a second or third division type of prospect? Are you willing, if you're the Orioles, to trade Manny Machado for that?
It's not going to go away until that trade deadline comes. The talk is going to continue. Danny Valencia gets that high hitter and rips it into center field. One hopper to Randall Grichuk. One out single.
The diverse Civic family, our most powerful lineup yet. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Roofs open at Rogers Center. Beautiful night, 20 degrees at the start of play. Orioles are in town for a 4-game series. Mark Trumbo, the DH, takes one downstairs for ball one. Trumbo's now 32 years old. He was an interesting draft pick by the Angels in the 18th round. And he was a hometown guy, grew up in Orange County, went to Villa Park High School, not far from Anaheim Stadium. He is a true student of the game of baseball. He loves to talk hitting. And he is into all this launch angle stuff. And he's a guy that says, you know what? I watched J.D. Martinez. They talk about his launch angle and everything. He starts on a downward plane. It just happens to go through the zone and then finishes up.
And then finish high, like everybody talks about. Yeah, Mark Trumbo is not a guy who just sits up there and swings as hard as he can. There's some preparation there and some thought into what he's doing.
He finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting to Jeremy Hellickson of the Tampa Bay Rays. Hellickson had that great rookie season pitching for Tampa Bay, and Trumbo was second in 2011. Popped up on the infield, smoked the first baseman calling for it, and that is a fair ball. Trumbo's out on the pop-up.
He played that free agent game a couple of years ago, and everybody thought he was going to cash in big time. And after that big season that he had, look at that strength. He's ready to break that bat.
You know, the free agent market has changed dramatically in the last couple of years. One-dimensional players, and basically Trumbo's a DH. One-dimensional players, they don't fare too well in the free agent market. First of all, you cut yourself off half the teams, all the National League teams, of course. This is Jonathan Schoop. Schoop is really swinging a lot this year. He's got the 7th highest swing percentage. I don't think that has been a successful approach for him. He's hitting .232.
He spent some time on the disabled list already this year. That's why his numbers are down, but he's a dangerous type of hitter. He's getting better and better every year. He's only had 4 walks this whole season.
He rips that one down the line and just foul. The Blue Jays were fortunate that ball hooked foul as Valencia was moving on the pitch. Had it been fair, he'd have scored easily.
Valencia has been walking off the base over there at first base, and he timed up Garcia. And you're right, if this ball stays fair, he's going to score, but it just hooks foul. Nice play by the fan down there.
So Valencia now, we're back at first base. It's an 0-2 count to Schoop. That one gets away from Maile. He can't find it. Valencia's big turnaround second. He'll stop right there. Another breaking ball well short of home plate. Maile had it go off of his body back to the backstop, and Valencia moved into scoring position.
Not much if you're Luke Maile you can do here. That thing is so far out in front plate. It looked like he got blocked off a little bit by Schoop once that ball bounced in front of home plate. Next best thing you can do, go pick it up and stop that runner at second base.
One and two. Another breaking ball bounced in the dirt.
Trying to be very careful now with a dangerous hitter at the plate, now with a runner in scoring position. There are all the signs that Luke Maile and Jaime Garcia will work over. They'll talk about it before the game. Go over the signs. Hey, when the runner gets to second base, I might do some outside indicators and then go through the sequence of signs like we normally do. Those outside indicators telling Garcia which pitch to look for.
Much better breaking ball, but Schoop lays off of it. It's a 3-2 countdown.
I think you got to be smart here. You have first base open. You've got Chris Davis on deck. Davis has really been struggling, and look at the numbers Schoop has put up against the Blue Jays. This isn't an automatic fastball count now, 3-2.
You got to make sure you don't give him anything to hit. And he didn't. That's not a bad walk. It's the second walk. First walk since the walk to Valencia back in the first inning. So now Chris Davis will come up.
And after the wild pitch, it wasn't a bad thing to walk him. You had that base open. Just take the bat right out of his hand and take your chances with Chris Davis, who's struggled.
Davis struck out on a breaking ball in the dirt back in the second inning. One of 3 strikeouts for Garcia. And then he throws one right on the outside corner. Couldn't get anything close, and then he paints the black on Davis. Davis, since 2012, has the 3rd most home runs in the major leagues. Trails only Edwin Encarnacion and Nelson Cruz in that department.
If you make pitches, you can get him out. He's going through a really rough patch here this season.
Mention how much of a struggle it has been. This is going back 21 games. He's hit 120 with no home runs and just 2 RBIs.
Since his last home run back to May the 10th, and he's left 34 runners on base. That's the big stat. He's always been a home run hitter. He's always been an RBI performer, but 34 players left on base in 83 plate appearances.
Gets a piece of it and grounds it to Wayne Kirby at first. Long-time first base coach for the Orioles. But it has been a struggle for Davis. There's no question about it. Hitting with men in scoring position, certainly something he has struggled with. 222 on the season overall. Garcia just has to win this battle. It's a 1-1 game. We're in the top of the 4th.
We mentioned that he's been a good home run hitter and a good RBI man in his career. In 2013, Chris Davis drove in 138 runs for the Baltimore Orioles, 53 home runs. He also had another 100 RBI season. That was in 2015. So he's been a run producer. It just hasn't happened this year for him.
Now it's really puzzling. His OPS at the start of this game, 473.
You'd like to have that number up in the 700 or 800s.
His career OPS is 803. Another 0-2 pitch from Garcia. He got him. Davis strikes out. Runs to first base. Mainly throws to first to complete the strikeout. The Orioles leave a couple aboard. Still a 1-1 game.
Net is presented by TD here at the ballpark, where the first 20,000 fans will receive that Blue Jays Pride hat. Game 2 of the Orioles Blue Jays series, 7 o'clock start. BlueJays.com for tickets. Guys?
Thank you very much, Arash. It's a 1-1 ball game. Each team with a run on 2 hits. That's been it so far. Teoscar Hernandez hitting third tonight. It'll be Hernandez, Smoke, and Morales against David Hess. Hess gave up a leadoff home run to Curtis Granderson, and the only other hit was a Randall Grichuk leadoff double in the third.
See what the players have learned now. This is the second time through for him against Hess. He has the ability to give up home runs. He gave up a home run to Granderson, like you just said. That's 6 of them now he's given up.
He gave up a first inning home run to Matt Duffy in his first start against Tampa Bay. Then he gave up 3 home runs to the Red Sox. 2 to J.D. Martinez and 1 to Andrew Benintendi. That's going to be out of play into the seats. In his last start, he matched up against the Nationals and faced Max Scherzer. In that game, he gave up a home run to Bryce Harper. But Scherzer was as consistent in his last start as he's been all season. Buck Showalter knows he was in tough against Max Scherzer. 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. Leadoff walk.
Beauty Tone is the official paint of the Toronto Blue Jays. Only available at Home Hardware. Here's how.
Beautiful evening here in Toronto. The roof is wide open, and it's been a very comfortable night. Blue Jays trying to make something out of that leadoff walk. First walk issued by David Hess. Justin Smoke struck out on a changeup his first time up. Blue Jays are getting some fastballs to hit. They just haven't squared up many pitches yet.
I think that's why you have to be ready to hit the fastball. Right now they're missing it. The timing's just a little bit off. Brooke Jacoby has always been a proponent of, hey, be ready to hit the fastball. And it all goes back to timing. If you've got a leg kick, okay, go ahead and get the leg kick going and get your front foot down, but be ready to hit the fastball.
Fastball a little higher and a little further away from Smoke. It's 0-2. Buck Showalter and some of the staff battling a cold. They're not feeling great. And you saw him coughing, and he's just under the weather.
That's the worst thing.
Summertime cold.
Yeah. When it goes through a clubhouse like that, a ball club, just don't want to talk to anybody or be around anybody.
Yeah, we just saw the director of the Orioles broadcast stuck his head into our booth. Says, I'd like to come and say hi, but I'm sick like everybody else.
Shut the door. Don't bring it in here, right?
1-2 to Smoke. There goes Hernandez, swing and a miss. Throw from Wynns in the dirt. Nice tag by Machado. Austin Wynns catches his first big league base stealer. Looks like the Blue Jays are going to have a look at the video review. Wynns catching in just his second game in the big leagues. Made a throw. It was a little bit short of the mark at second.
But watch the play by Machado, who's going to pick it and throw the tag down. It's a high tag. That's why you got that reaction from Teoscar Hernandez. You can see it's up around the shin area. It doesn't look like the Blue Jays are going to look at it. Boy, that's so close, but I think it's the right call.
Yeah, it looked like he was out. Machado stopped the tag on him before he hit the bag. So Hernandez is caught for the third time. Change him off the plate to Morales, batting now with 2 outs.
How about that play by Manny Machado? You know, he's not just a hitter now. He's one of the finest third basemen we've seen. Now he's moved over to short. He picked that thing clean. For a big man, he moves really well, and he's got great reflexes and soft hands. That was a very tough play, and he made it look easy.
High changeup misses for ball 2. Breaking ball. Now it's 2-2. Off the end of the bat. That's going to be a nice base hit. Little squiver against the shift. Morales able to keep it fair up the third baseline.
Remember his first at bat? How hard he hit the ball to left field, and he was robbed by a nice play by the left fielder Trey Mancini. Well, this time it's going to even out. It's an off-speed pitch. He's out in front and cues it right off the end of the bat, but because the Orioles are in the shift, look at it, there's nobody over there. I don't know why players don't take advantage of that more often when there's no defender in your picture.
Yeah. And obviously he didn't mean to hit it that softly, but at the same time, then you can use that same approach and square around and bunt. You don't have to surprise anybody. You just have to put it on the ground. So Luke Maile, a strikeout victim in the second. He bats with a man on and 2 outs. 1-1 ball game, bottom of the 4th. Way outside. He really slowed his delivery down on that last curveball and threw it well off the plate away.
What you don't want to do is guide the ball there. You want to throw it to the target. That time it looked like he was trying to guide the ball away, like, I don't want to make a mistake with my curveball.
Much better breaking ball, and Blue Jays might have got a call in their favor on that one. Looked like Maile went too far, but he's not called for the swing. It's 3-1.
This is where you can't get too anxious. 3-1. Chances are you're going to get a pitch to hit. There's a check swing called no swing. Stay short.
Ball 4. Second walk in the inning. Second walk in the ball game. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update. Indeed, the Red Hot Mariners a game ahead of the Houston Astros in the AL West. Mike Leake's on the mound for Seattle. High drive deep to center field. Jones is on the run. He's got room, and he'll get there as Diaz flies out to center. The Blue Jays strand a pair of base runners. It's a 1-1 game as we head into the 5th. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddle in the Samsung broadcast studio. spot for you if you're a former reliever like Jason Grilli. Jason there on the left sitting with his dad, Steve Grilli. And of course, Jason, of course, pitched with the Blue Jays. 9 teams he pitched for in his major league career. His father, Steve Grilli, pitched for the Tigers and the Blue Jays. Steve got into one game in 1979 for the Blue Jays, and it's great to see them there. And that's what a guy and his dad should be doing after he retires. Have a cold beer and go to a ball game.
Go to a ball game, talk about the game, swapping some stories. Jason first came to the big leagues in 2000 and retired last season after pitching in 20 games for the Texas Rangers. I think he's in town for Robbie Alomar's golf tournament tomorrow.
Yeah, they're both going to play in the golf tournament. And Steve and I were teammates in Mayaguez, Puerto Rico. When Jason, I believe, was about 2, my son was just about 1.5. And we had a great time in Puerto Rico, and Steve pitched with us there.
Jason did a great job for the Blue Jays.
Didn't he?
When they picked him up in May. That was in May of 2016. Did a great job for the Blue Jays as a setup man. He's a pro's pro.
Yeah, he pitched in 46 games for the Blue Jays in 16. Went 6-4 with a 364 earned run average. 42 innings, just 26 hits. Then in the postseason, he made 5 appearances for the Blue Jays. Craig Gentry with a 1-2 countdown. Gentry struck out his first time up. He's leading off the top of the 5th.
Got to keep him off the bases. He's their best base stealer.
Bouncing ball. Urshela wide of third. Strong throw in time. 1 away.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
Austin Wynns, the rookie catcher, had his first caught stealing of his young major league career when he threw out Teoscar Hernandez in the bottom of the 4th. John Gibbons moved to a different seat.
Change up the luck.
Change up the luck. Give his birthday tomorrow. June 8th. Foul ball wide of third. Wynns made his major league debut in New York against the Mets. That was on Tuesday. Picked up a base hit in his first big league at bat. Right field, Granderson coming in quickly, and everybody's looking at everybody else. Nobody's making a call. Second base umpire was looking at the first base umpire. Nobody was there to make a call. Will Little at second base finally made the call. A sliding catch, and Wynns not sure about it. Granderson says had it all the way. But both umpires were very late in making a call.
The rotation as the second base umpire has to go out there because the first base umpire's got to stay at first base. Clearly a catch by Granderson. That's twice he's left his feet tonight, and twice he's come up with some basket catches.
Nice play by Curtis. 2 outs now. Back to the top of the order. Trey Mancini has doubled and struck out. Looking for that fastball. He gets the changeup. Comes right back with the same pitch. Mancini came into this ballgame batting .344 here at Rogers Center. He's hit safely in now 8 of his 10 games he's played here. Curveball. Oh, Jaime Garcia, he's got it locked in now. 3 up, 3 down in the top of the 5th. Garcia is on a roll.
If he felt the Blue Jays have deserved a better fate in any of the losses during this tough stretch of late, Pilar was blunt in his response. He said, no, I think we're at where we're at. Baseball players don't believe in that. They say over the course of the year that things even out, but they really don't. So you know our record is what our record is. We don't deserve better. If you want to deserve better, you go out and earn it. Kevin Pilar, the veteran, Buck.
Well, that's very honest and very good to hear Kevin Pilar express those thoughts. And I think everybody in that dugout knows they haven't played up to their capabilities. They haven't played well on the field, they haven't pitched well, and they haven't hit well. So to say anything other than that, I think would have been a mistake. And good for Kevin. He was asked and he answered in a very honest fashion.
He's right about it all evening out. It doesn't even out.
No.
When you're playing, you don't feel like it evens out. It might even out over the course of 2 or 3 seasons. That's the last thing you wanted to hear when you're hitting the ball well and you're not getting any hits. Hey, it'll even out.
Hey, good swing.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that. I want my hits.
Yeah. I'd rather swing at it, not know where it is, and have it drop for a base hit. Broken bat. Oh, that looked pretty close to being fair. Grichuk just missed another extra base hit. Louis Rivera talking with Ted Barrett, the crew chief, down at third. Take a look at this.
It's a broken bat, and it just has to clip any part of the base.
That looked like it had a big chunk
of
third
the
base.
Yeah, any part. It's not where it bounces. It's not if it bounces past the bag foul. It's where the ball is when it goes over the base.
Watch where it hits in front of the base, and then watch where it hits after it makes contact again. That, to me, that had a lot of the base, but it is a non-reviewable play. Ted Barrett, the veteran crew chief at third, he had great position. You can't fault him for that.
No, and Louis asked him right away, and he said, no, that ball went foul.
Grichuk doubled to lead off the third, but he never got past second. And that's what we're talking about with Urshela. You heard Joe Siddle talking about the Urshela at bat popping up to right field on the first pitch. Another broken bat dribbler to short. Machado with a strong arm in time, one away.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
Gio Urshela batting into the 9th spot. Hit that pop up to right field. In the third inning, he's 0 for 1.
He swung at the first pitch, and it was a breaking ball that he popped up to right field. So he was taken all the way, and he guessed wrong. That fastball was right down the middle.
Fouls the second one back. It's 0-2. That was probably part of the conversation he was having with Donaldson, saying, you know what, you've never seen this guy. you're in a pivotal point of the ball game with a crucial at bat, and you swing at the first pitch, and it's a breaking ball. Give yourself a chance. Base hit. Could be extra bases. Gentry over to cut it off, and Urshela will be held to a long single. Gentry, we talked about his background. He can play center field. He's got a lot of speed, and he got to that ball quickly to hold Urshela to a one-out single.
That was a two-strike approach right there from Urshela, and he's going to get a base hit. Watch him cut the swing down. They tried to go up and away 0-2. Cuts it down, keeps it between Davis and the bag at first base, and he was thinking two. But Gentry, an outstanding outfielder, look how quickly he gets over there, catches the ball before it hits the wall, and holds him to a single.
Curtis Granderson batting for a third time tonight. A home run and a flyout. Takes strike one. It's really interesting how the Orioles have done this a couple of times tonight, where they start Valencia over at third on the first pitch of an at bat. Then they get a strike on the hitter, and he goes over into the hole at second. Double play combination is intact.
And Scope and Machado. Machado creeping in just a little bit now with Granderson. And the whole thinking is he's not going to bunt with one strike, because it has to be a perfect bunt then. I think Manny Machado picked up on that very heady play. He started creeping in at shortstop. But they wait until 2 strikes, and then Valencia will go over to the right side, and they'll keep that double play combination of Scope and Machado. Look at where Manny's playing at shortstop, just in case Curtis thinks about dropping the bunt down.
Ground ball. This could be 2. Scope to Machado. Back to first. It is a double play. Well, they moved Valencia to the third baseman so they could have the double play combination in its place, and it gets them out of the inning. Orioles here in the 6th, and the Orioles have some tough decisions ahead of them. Manny Machado, Adam Jones, Zach Britton are all free agents at the end of this season.
Yeah, and who knows what's going to happen with the Orioles. Remember, they lost Matt Wieters a few years ago. They couldn't pay him. They gave a lot of money to Chris Davis to keep him. Now do they have enough money to keep any of these players? Machado, Adam Jones in his 11th season with the Baltimore Orioles. And then Zach Britton, we haven't seen him yet because of the injury. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Adam Jones. We were talking earlier about Manny Machado. He's going to be just 26 years old when he's a free agent. Baseball teams are not handing out multi-year contracts to guys 32, 33 years old anymore. It doesn't seem that way. Long-term contracts. Those 5, 6, 8, 10-year contracts we saw, like a Robinson Cano or an Albert Pujols, guys who are over 32 years old. You don't see it anymore. So what's the Orioles going to do?
Yeah, and Adam Jones He's playing in his 1600th game tonight, and he's had a fine career. He's been an all-star 5 times. He has 4 Gold Gloves, but he's in that same class as far as experience and age as Josh Donaldson.
It'll be very interesting with some of the free agents. It's a monster class.
Bouncing ball over the pitcher's head. Diaz coming in from short makes a nice play. We have talked about Diaz a lot recently since his return off the disabled list, and the Blue Jays really missed him. And you know what? He didn't get a lot of recognition, didn't get a lot of attention in spring training, but he's a pretty good defender.
He's a natural shortstop, and once he went down, they didn't have a natural shortstop. Urania came up and played a little bit, but had that one really rough afternoon here where I think he made 2 or 3 errors. But it's such a welcome to see Diaz back here. I think he's underrated defensively.
Here is Manny Machado. Goes after the first pitch, hits it off the end of the bat, and that's going to get down for a base hit into center. So Machado picks up his first hit of the night. He is now 1 for 2 with a sacrifice fly.
Well, I don't know if there's a sweeter swing in baseball than Manny Machado's. How he can get to any pitch. He had a sacrifice fly his first time up. He's going to get this changeup and hit it into center field. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined, available now. How about that level swing as he's got full extension on that base hit?
Now, Mark Trumbo was talking about Machado's swing and how long the barrel of the bat stays in the hitting zone. And that's why he's able to get hits to all directions of the field and hits with authority. Danny Valencia, the batter. Valencia has walked and singled. He was stranded at second base in the 4th inning. The Orioles stranded a pair in that 4th inning. You know, one more thought about Manny Machado. He came up in August of 2012. Buck Showalter was the manager and said, I want to move Machado from shortstop to third base. He played about 10 games at third base in the minors. They brought him to the big leagues and put him at third. That's how good an athlete he is.
And he looked natural over at third base. I mean, he is fun to watch on both sides of the ball.
Machado got 2 hits in his first big league game as a 19-year-old. And you mentioned 19 years old, and you think naturally of the 19-year-old the Blue Jays have in Double-A.
He came straight from Double-A, didn't he?
Yes,
Manny
he did.
Machado.
He was in the same league. He was a buoy in the Eastern League. 1 and 2, 1 out. Danny Valencia at the plate. Fly ball to center and deep. Grichuk on the run. He gets back and makes a nice running catch. Brando Grichuk right at home in center field. He spent a lot of time patrolling center field. And he played center field for the Cardinals, the same team that Jaime Garcia pitched for.
And he got a good read on this. You can see him at the top of the screen there in center field. That's the toughest play for a center fielder, that line drive right over your head. He got a good read on it, ran right back to the baseball to haul that in. Tell you, all the hitting woes that he has had this year, he hasn't had any problems in the field.
You know what? Not once has he taken his offensive problems with him out onto the field. He's played very well out in the field. Played 115 games in the center in 2016 for the Cardinals. 2 outs now. Here is Mark Trumbo. He's popped out twice. Well, in the open, we talked about 3 consecutive solid starts by the Blue Jays starters. Aaron Sanchez started it on Sunday in Detroit. It was followed up by Marco Estrada and Sam Gaviglio. 3 straight starts, and the Blue Jays are getting another solid start tonight.
That's what they needed. If you have any thoughts of winning games, it starts on the mound.
Base hit. Trumbo breaks up the shift, and Manny Machado is headed for third. He'll stop right there. Mark Trumbo, he's a slugger, right? He said this winter I concentrated on hitting the ball to the right side hard on the ground, and that's exactly what he did against Garcia. He said they're going to play me in the shifts all the time, and I just have to take advantage of it. He got that pitch on the inner half and kind of inside out swings at it and drives it to that big hole.
And drills that ball to right field. A great play by Granderson to cut that ball off, or Manny Machado had thoughts of possibly scoring on that ball. But if you're going to give the big guy that hole on the right side like that, he's going to take advantage of it.
So the Orioles threatening here in their half of the 6th. Granderson's played well in the field tonight, out in right field, and he's got a leadoff home run. The 1-1 ball game. Jonathan Schoop, the second baseman, has grounded out and walked. Breaking ball. 1-0 to Schoop. Of course, Maley now with a runner at third base really has to be aware of that ball in the dirt.
Yeah, if he calls breaking ball, either the changeup or his slider or his curveball, he has to anticipate the ball in the dirt and get down as low as you can and block that ball if it is in front of home plate.
Off the plate, 2-0. Schoop has not been as consistent driving in and runs as we've seen in the past. Just 7 for 42 batting with runners in scoring position. Three and 0. Again, now you got to be thinking about the guy on deck. Chris Davis.
They're putting them on.
Yeah. Don't blame him. Even though the runner is at first, you have a base open. It just happens to be at second. So now they will walk Schoop after falling behind 3-0 and pitch to Chris Davis. He has struck out both times tonight against Garcia.
And it hasn't looked good. John Gibbons said, I'm not even going to take any chances with Jonathan Schoop, 3-0. Just go ahead, take the bat out of his hand for the second straight at bat, and I'll take my chances right now with Chris Davis.
The Blue Jays used 6 relievers last night. It looks like Danny Barnes will be the first up for the Blue Jays. Barnes threw 15 pitches in his 1 inning of work last night. Interesting battle now. Garcia with the bases loaded, facing Chris Davis, who has struck out twice on breaking balls. Eight grand slams for Davis.
I don't think he's thinking about that right now. I think he's just trying to think about making some solid contact right here. They give him basically the whole left side of the infield. Play him in a huge shift on the right side of the infield.
Well, you got to throw him a strike. You got to figure out how to do that. It's been such a struggle for Davis. His average has dropped to 153 with a couple of strikeouts tonight. It's a 1-1 ball game. The hits are even at 4 apiece. Both teams have stranded 3 to this point.
It's a big pitch here, 2-0. You got to make a good one.
Foul. Smoke was guarding the line, and that ball was out of his reach, but well foul. There was a time when Chris Davis was one of the most feared hitters to come into Rogers Center in all of baseball. Davis, a career .298 hitter in this ballpark with 18 career home runs
in 57 games.
41 ribbies in 57 games prior to this game tonight. But he is not that same hitter right now.
Watch Luke Maile go through his set of signs on the outside. And now Jaime Garcia gets the indicator which sign they're going to use. Now they're going to go through their set of signs just so everybody knows what's going on.
3-1. Craig Gentry is on deck. 2 outs, a 3-1 count to Chris Davis in this 1-1 ball game. Machado's at third, Trumbo at second, and Scope at first. Fastball for strike 2. So the runners will be off on this pitch. Machado from third, Trumbo from second, and Scope from first. 3-2 pitch to Chris Davis. Garcia trying to get out of this jam in the 6th. Got it. Jaime Garcia strikes out Chris Davis for a 3rd time, and the Orioles leave the bases loaded. It's still a 1-1 game. By authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership, it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Another terrific game. Curtis Granderson with a leadoff home run. Orioles scored a run in the top of the 1st. The Blue Jays got the Granderson home run in the bottom of the 1st, and that's been it.
Now time to take advantage of that last inning. Orioles were knocking on the door. Jaime Garcia comes up big to strike out Chris Davis, leave the bases loaded. Now the offense has got to get to work.
A run on 4 hits for each club. David Hess has been impressive. Gave up that leadoff home run to Granderson. Just 3 hits since. Little tapper out in front of home. Wynns gets on it, and Solarte's retired. 1 away.
You know what's impressive with David Hess is, you know, he's not going to wow you by lighting up the radar gun, but he's pitching. He's moving the ball around. He throws strikes, doesn't walk too many people. changes speeds. I mean, I think that's what the new starters are like in baseball. Get me the 6th inning, maybe the 7th inning, then turn it over to the bullpen.
Teoscar Hernandez has grounded out and walked. Takes a good cut at that first pitch. You know, this is a little bit like the game last night. Yankees won 3-0 in 13, but both starters, Sam Gaviglio for the Blue Jays and Sonny Gray for the Yankees, they pitched all night long. Gaviglio 7 strong innings, no runs on 3 hits, and Gray had no runs on 2 hits over 8. Gaviglio has been a very nice surprise for the Blue Jays.
Hasn't he? Remember when he was acquired right at the end of spring training, you're like, well, some depth for the AAA team. Blue Jays didn't see it that way. Say, hey, we like this guy and we think he can help us eventually this year.
Well, there's a good curveball from David Hess. Yeah, Gaviglio did not win a game in 5 starts in AAA, but he pitched well. And he has carried that right here to the big leagues. A ball and 2 strikes on Hernandez with 1 out. Tyler Clippard now, as Barnes was up earlier. Now Tyler Clippard has gotten up. Clippard pitched in the 10th inning, got 2 outs, and threw just 7 pitches. That was in last night's game. High fly ball. Jones has a beat on it and makes the catch.
At the Honda checkered flag event, the real victory lap is the drive home.
Lots of action in Jay's shop and a lot of goods for anybody. If you have an idea of a nice gift or getting something to your dad for Father's Day, you can find it right here. 2 outs.
You know, we've talked about the starters over the last 3 games, how well they've pitched. The only problem with that is they've only been able to win 1 game. The starters have pitched great. They just haven't been able to get enough runs to help them win.
John Gibbons with a message for Russ Martin. That was interesting. It looked like Gibbons looked at his finger as if he was talking about a pitcher. Maybe just wanting to get Russell's eyes on the pitcher. Another tapper right out in front of home. Wynns takes his time and Smoke is retired. Blue Jays go down very quietly in the bottom of the 6th. 6 strong innings for both of these starters. Tyler Clippard coming on for the Blue Jays in this 1-1 game. time this season, the Blue Jays have gotten 4 consecutive starts of 6 innings or more, and Garcia continues that string tonight. 91 pitches over 6 innings. He was very good after a rocky start to the ballgame.
Yeah, he was up over 20 pitches in that first inning, but finishes with 91 his 6 innings. That's the 3rd time this year he has thrown at least 6 innings. He did have the 3 walks, but he helped out his cause with 6 strikeouts. That's 4 games now where the starters have pitched well, but they've only been able to win 1 game. Now it's up to the bullpen. Tyler Clippard, for the 32nd time this year, will take over. He's 4-2 with a .334 earned run average. He pitched in yesterday's game. You mentioned he threw only 7 pitches to get 2 outs. And now it's up to Clippard and the rest of the bullpen to hold the Orioles right there.
It'd be 8-9-1 for the Orioles here in the top of the 7th. Craig Gentry, the first batter, goes after that high fastball. That was weird. I think both Maley and the home plate umpire Lance Buckstales felt the effect of that foul ball. I'm not sure who it hit first. So Clippard's ahead 0-1, leadoff man here in the 7th. Pat, you mentioned it earlier. Gentry's a running threat, so you'd be good to keep him off the bases.
Corners are in for the Blue Jays, and the middle infield has shortened up because he can run. And Clippard's got that little splitter if he taps the ball or tops the ball. That's why the infield, you can see them shortening up because he can run so well. Got to keep him off the bases.
Great changeup. 1-2. No splitter there as Gentry strikes out, first out of the inning. Clippard comes in and strikes out the first man he faces.
What that splitter does when he follows it up after a changeup, there's the grip that he holds, and he gets those seams in between those fingers. Watch the timing, how it really messes up Gentry. Out in front, just a one-handed swing, and he comes up empty. So a fastball, changeup, and a splitter to get the first out.
The rookie catcher, Austin Wynns. He was retired on a nice sliding catch by Curtis Granderson in the 5th. Hit a low liner to right field. Granderson made a sliding catch. Right into the Orioles broadcast booth.
I'm sure Bordy picked it. Mike Bordick is over there. He had a great glove when he was a player. I'm sure he picked that one clean.
Wynns picked up his first big league hit Tuesday against the Mets. There's Mike Bordick. Gary Thorne, the play-by-play. Bordy, look at, he's got the baseball. Sure, he always could catch it. There's a high drive to left field. Hey, Oscar back at the wall, at the fence. This ball is gone. Austin Wynns with his first big league home run breaks the tie.
Boy, that's a high, long home run down the left field line. We mentioned he got his first big league hit the other day against the Mets. He said it's good to feel like I'm contributing to the ball club, being part of the team, helping them win. Smiling, he says, I'm just trying to take it all in and enjoy my time in the big leagues. Well, he's going to enjoy this swing. Looked like a high changeup that he stays on top of and belts it over the wall for the game-breaking home run.
Wynns is 27 years old. He was drafted by the Orioles out of Fresno State in 2013. And now he's got a home run on his ledger. His first big league home run.
Threw out a base runner tonight.
Yeah, he's had a big night. This home run very similar to the one Teoscar Hernandez hit a couple of nights ago. A high booming drive.
A little bit different than the Giancarlo Stanton home run last night. That one was a line drive that didn't look like it got 50 feet off the ground.
Clippard, that's the 6th home run he has given up this season. Strikes out Mancini with that high pitch. Mancini strikes out for a 3rd time tonight.
That's where you want to throw him with 2 strikes. Right around the letters and get that ball above the bat. Tyler Clippard comes right back with a good pitch, finishing pitch. Another high splitter.
Michael Gibbons, a hard throwing righty, now starts to throw. Here's Adam Jones. He's grounded out 3 times to the shortstop. Talking to himself now.
How did I miss that one? Looked like he was ready for it.
He likes that approach better. Very animated, very good player. Been a good player for a long time. Started out with the Seattle Mariners. Played a couple of seasons in Seattle before he was traded to the Orioles.
11 years now he has been with Baltimore. Great player. Comes to play every day. Gold Glove center fielder. He's become a great player and a great leader.
He had some mentors from his hometown of San Diego that helped him early in his career. Mark McLemore and the late Tony Gwynn. They both took him under their wing early in his career. He strikes out again. Tyler Clippard with a couple of strikeouts. In fact, he strikes out the side, but he gives up a 1-out home run to Austin Wynns. For Wynns, the rookie catcher, his first big league home run, and it gives the Orioles a 2-1 lead.
The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Hurry in to grab the Civic that matches your game.
Busy night at Rogers Center. The Orioles have taken a 2-1 lead on the home run by the rookie catcher Austin Wynns. Kendrys Morales, he is 1 for 2 at a squibber up the 3rd baseline back in the 4th inning. David Hess. We mentioned he had 2 seasons at AA Bowie, 2016 and 2017. They sent him back for a second season after he went 5-13 his first year in AA. This year he started out in AAA Norfolk, made 6 starts, threw the ball very well and got a promotion. Made his first big league start on May 12th, first game of the doubleheader against Tampa Bay. He won that game. He was matched up against Chris Archer. But the home runs have been a bit of a concern. Gave up a leadoff home run to Curtis Granderson tonight, but he settled in after that.
Especially the first guy he faces tonight, and it's a home run. But he settled down. He's used his changeup. He's used his breaking ball.
2-2 to Morales.
That looked like a high changeup,
Yeah.
just 81 miles an hour.
Well, again, the Blue Jays just can't solve the pitching. They had 7 hits in the 2 games against New York. That's going to drop for a base hit. Morales, his second hit of the night. Back-to-back games with 2 hits for Kendrys Morales.
He broke an 0 for 14 with that first hit in yesterday's game. Got himself a multi-hit game. He's got another one, and that's going to bring Buck Showalter to the mound. He's already made the move. He wanted to ride Hess a little bit longer, but he can only get 6 innings out of him.
So Hess pitches into the 7th, but he gives up a leadoff single. Michael Gibbons into the game for the Orioles. TD's community partners. Welcome to Rogers Center, and it's been a heck of a ball game. Blue Jays trail 2-1. New pitcher is the right-hander Michael Gibbons.
He's pitched a lot against the Blue Jays. They know him well. Hard throwing righty, fastball slider combination. He's also had a save. He did that back on May the 12th against Tampa Bay, his first career save. He can give you multiple innings. I think that's the value of Michael Gibbons. He can give you an inning in 2/3 or 2 innings. Got to gear it up.
Luke Maile batting with nobody out. Breaking ball inside, missed for ball 1. David Hess, a very solid outing for Hess. He can win it, he can't lose it. Runner at first is his responsibility. Gibbons has done a terrific job of making the transition. He started out playing shortstop for the Orioles, played 3 seasons as a position player, and then he made the transition to the mound.
Couldn't hit, but he had a tremendous arm. And you know, another thing that he has done really well, as that ball skied to right field, he keeps the ball in the ballpark. He's given up 1 home run this whole season. managers love that when they've got guys coming in out of that bullpen late in the game and not giving up home runs. Gave up a home run to Josh Reddick. That was way back in April, his 3rd game of the season.
Gibbons is making his 22nd career appearance against the Blue Jays. He's a perfect 4-0 against the Jays and has held them to a 191 opponent's batting average. Good cut by Diaz. Now Ledmus has fly out twice to the center fielder.
Not a lot of options right now for John Gibbons, the manager, to try and get him a run. Tough to play hit and run against Gibbons. Just got to hope for a couple of hits that they can string together.
Popped right back over the screen and out of play. Another low-scoring game for the Blue Jays. Ground ball to third. Valencia, late throw to second, and that's all they'll get. Valencia had some trouble getting the ball out of his glove, and by the time he threw it to second, it was high off the mark, and all they can get is that lead runner.
And that was a slow developing play by Valencia. He wasn't really sure if he had the ball in his glove, and then the transfer. Watch him again at third base. Unsure of the ball in the glove. Now he's trying to get the good grip, and it looked like he threw him a changeup. Scope did the right thing and just saying, okay, I'm going to get that lead runner and get him off the bases, instead of trying to make a play that just wasn't there.
Yeah, that's a routine double play ball. Valencia never got a good grip on the baseball. So that gives Gretzky a chance. Randall has doubled and grounded out. Off the plate. Michael Gibbons came into this ball game with a man at first and nobody out, and the Orioles have been very good at stranding those inherited base runners, second only to the Angels.
This bullpen has taken a couple of hits this year for the Orioles. Zach Britton's on the disabled list, Darren O'Day's on the disabled list, but they still got some weapons down there. And this is one of them right here. I've always liked Michael Gibbons. He'll take the ball every day if you want to give it to him. He'll give you more than one inning, and he can strike you out.
Brad Brock has taken the closer's role since Britton is unavailable. Ground ball to short. Machado waits on it. Long throw offline, and Grichuk safe. Good job by Grichuk hustling down the line. By the time Davis came off the first base bag and swiped at Grichuk, he was past him. Machado will be charged with his 6th error of the season.
He's going to try and catch this plant all in one motion and then throw across the diamond. He's got the great arm, but you got to credit Randall Grichuk hustling down the line. That's a routine ground ball. He doesn't take it for granted.
Well, you said the word routine, but Grichuk was given a base hit for that. That's popped up. Urshela goes after the first pitch again and pops up, and the Blue Jays will strand a pair. So a couple of hits in the inning, but nothing to show for it. We'll go to the 8th. John Axford coming on. have the lead as they're set to bat in the top of the 8th inning. Blue Jays have out-hit the Orioles 6-5, but the Orioles lead in the only category that counts, the runs.
This might be the hottest pitcher out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays right now. John Axford is going to work for the 27th time. He doesn't have a record. He hasn't given up a hit in his last 3 appearances, covering 4 innings. A couple of outings at Detroit, and then he pitched in yesterday's game against the Yankees, an inning. He did have a walk, but he didn't give up a hit or a run. Axford's made some adjustments, and he's got some movement now. I mean, big time movement on that 2-seam fastball. I think John Gibbons wanted to bring a little bit more power out of the bullpen to face the middle of this lineup now. The power hitters coming up for the Orioles.
Yeah, he's done this consistently. When he's got the meat of the order up, he'll bring Axford in. John threw 26 pitches in that inning of work last night, and it was a bit of a struggle. He threw 2 wild pitches, but he didn't allow them to score. Manny Machado first up. Little flare in the right. Granderson is there. He'll make the catch. Machado's retired. Richard Blyer, one of 2 left-handers for the Orioles, starting to loosen up. They also have a youngster, hard-throwing Tanner Scott. He throws a fastball in the mid-90s.
I am sure he's going to start next inning with Curtis Granderson and then Solarte for the Blue Jays.
Danny Valencia, cleanup hitter. Breaking ball upstairs for ball 1. The Orioles are 19-41. The Blue Jays 26-35, and Baltimore has the lead here in the 8th. Buck Showalter's in his 20th major league season as a manager, his 9th with the Orioles.
That's amazing,
isn't it?
9 seasons already.
He's actually managed for 25 years when you count his experience in the minors, so he's seen just about everything as a manager. Got his first job managing the New York Yankees.
You know, we were talking about that at one point about grooming managers through the minor leagues. Is that starting to disappear now? Look at all the hires the last couple of years.
First-time managers.
No experience.
Yeah, that's a great point.
He says you got to go down to the minor leagues. You see everything in the minor leagues. Crazy plays that prepare you to manage at the major league level.
Yeah, it's interesting, but Buck certainly was groomed to be a manager, and he's been a good one. Buck Showalter 3 times has been the manager of the year. Kevin Pillar looks like he's getting ready for duty. He did not start this game. He's putting on his spikes. Remember, they got a lefty down in their bullpen getting loose. 3-1 to Valencia. Swinging a drive, deep fly ball, and this one's got a chance, and it's going to go. Danny Valencia, it's his 6th home run of the season, and the Orioles increase their lead to 3-1.
Second hit of the night for Valencia. He singled his 2nd time up. He also has walked and flew out. 3-1 count, and he was sitting all over a fastball. That's what he got from John Axford. And Ax gives up his first run.
See that 4-seam fastball, and Valencia jumps on it.
It's the first run he's given up since May the 24th versus the Angels. And Valencia homers.
(3-1) Baltimore. Mark Trumbull rips it to left field, and this ball's going to go. Back-to-back home runs for the Orioles. Trumbull's 3rd of the season. And that was a low liner that just cleared the fence in left and went into the Blue Jays bullpen.
Fourth time this year that the Orioles have hit back-to-back home runs. First time since May the 24th that they've done that. Shows you the kind of strength that Trumbo has. He tomahawked that high pitch. Stayed on top of it. Watch him get up and lines that ball. Look at that thing, barely gets off the ground.
You see Trumbo, and we were talking about Trumbo, how he discounts the launch angle theory. He hit down on that ball and created all kinds of backspin.
That's exactly what I saw. The backspin. He was able to hit that ball off that back wall.
Yeah, Mark Trumbo says, whenever I drop my back shoulder, I get into trouble. That launch angle on that home run, 15 degrees, exactly the same as Stanton's home run from last night. There's a drive to right field. Scope slices it into the seats, foul.
That was very similar to the Giancarlo Stanton home run last night. Stanton's home run, his exit velocity was 119 last night. Trumbo, that one was 109.
Yeah, that gives you an idea how hard Stanton hit that ball. So it's now 4-1 Baltimore. Bouncing ball to short. Diaz takes the short hop and throws Scope out. 2 away. So John Gibbons has made the call to the bullpen. He's got Chris Davis as the batter. So Axford gives up back-to-back home runs, gets a couple of outs, and now Aaron Loup will come on to face Chris Davis with 2 outs here in the 8th, and Baltimore with a 4-1 lead. Will come in to make his 28th appearance.
No record earned run average of 397 for Loup. He's brought in to face Chris Davis. John Gibbons wanted the lefty pitcher versus the lefty batter matchup. You delve into the numbers, though. Chris Davis has had all kind of success against Aaron Loup in his career.
7 for 15 against Loup with a home run. Davis has struck out 3 times tonight, all swinging. There are the numbers we were talking about. Davis against Loup. Bounces this ball up the middle. Urshela throws him out. So Loup gets Chris Davis. The Orioles with back-to-back home runs have taken a 4-run lead as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Time now for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Joe Siddall in the Samsung broadcast studio. Buck Showalter's made a pitching change. The left-hander Richard Blyer comes in after Michael Gibbons had a very good inning of work.
And Blyer's a very interesting guy. You could see in 27 games, he's been almost unhittable. 3-0 with a 2.11 earned run average. They are giving him more and more work because he's done a great job. He worked in that game yesterday. An inning, gave up a hit. The rest of the numbers all the way around, just 4 walks. Another defensive change for the Orioles.
Joey Rickard takes over defensively in left field for Trey Mancini, who's out of the game. Mancini had a leadoff double, finishes up 1 for 4 in the ball game. Kevin Pillar pinch hitting for Curtis Granderson. Takes the first pitch strike.
Very simple approach for Richard Blyer. He threw an inning yesterday, threw just 14 pitches. Comes right after you. Little fastball changeup.
Valencia backhands, strong throw in time. Pillar's retired. So Pillar grounds out as a pinch hitter to start the bottom of the 8th inning. Curtis Granderson had a leadoff home run. He finishes up 1 for 3 on his night. And Elvis Solarte batting right-handed for the first time tonight. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Blue Jays just 1 run on 6 hits. Continue to struggle offensively. Bouncing ball. Valencia to his left. Rights and fires. Solarte's retired. 2 ground ball outs here in the 8th.
It's time to fire up your senses. Your best experience begins with Broil King. Available at your local home hardware. Here's how.
Beautiful evening in Toronto. The roof at Rogers Center is wide open. And it has been a gorgeous evening for baseball, but the Blue Jays trail by 3. Here's what you were talking about with Blyer. He throws a lot of strikes.
Yeah, and he keeps the ball low in the strike zone. A little sinker, a little slider, mixing a curveball to change up every now and then. Works quickly, throws lots of strikes. He's gaining a lot of confidence in his manager, Buck Showalter, using him a lot now.
One and 2 now to Hernandez.
And they're not afraid to use him a lot. This is 3 straight days now that the Orioles have pitched Blyer. 8 pitches a couple of days ago, 14 in yesterday's game, and now very quickly 2 outs and 2 strikes.
Turns that ball over, misses down and away. It's 2 and 2. Hernandez 0 for 2 tonight with a walk. Ground ball up the middle. That'll get past Machado into center for a base hit. Machado is shaded in the hole at shortstop, and Hernandez bounced it past him into center for a 2-out single.
They pulled a couple of balls to the left side of the infield, and so Teoscar says, you know what, there's a giant hole up the middle. I'm going to take advantage of that, and just squeaks it past Machado.
So Justin Smoak turns around and bats right-handed for the first time. Smoak has struck out twice and grounded out. Takes a mighty cut on the first pitch.
And that's one thing you don't want to do against Blyer, is be a little bit over aggressive. Let him come to you. He's going to be around the strike zone. If you start to be over aggressive, you're going to get it long in your swing and you're going to miss the pitch.
Ground ball up the middle. Scope to his left. He throws to first. Plenty of time to retire Smoak, so the Blue Jays get a 2-out single and leave a base runner. We've played 8 The Orioles have a 4-run lead as we head to the ninth. The checkered flag event. Check out their all-star lineup.
8th inning, and the Baltimore Orioles have a 2-1 lead. While they need a little breathing room, and it's going to be Danny Valencia with this long drive to left field. Valencia with the home run, his 6th, and then right behind him, Mark Trumbo with number 3. Back-to-back home runs for the 4th time this season by the Baltimore Orioles. Tonight's drives of the game, that gives them a 4-1 lead as we head to the 9th inning.
Seng-Won Oh making his 28th appearance of the season. He had that rough outing on Tuesday against the Yankees. He gave up the grand slam home run to Miguel Andujar, the first pitch after he walked Aaron Hicks. Pilar, who pinch hit, stays in the game to play center field. With that, center fielder Randall Grichuk moves to right to take over defensively for Curtis Granderson.
And O had been pitching really well until the Detroit game and then that game against the Yankees. He had really righted the ship and his numbers were looking pretty good.
But you heard Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddall talk about the bullpen and how much they have worked and how it has really caught up to them. This is popped up behind second base. Solarte out into the outfield, waits on it, makes the catch as Gentry's retired on the pump. Miguel Castro on the left, Brad Brock on the right, loosening up. Brad Brock 10 for 11 in save opportunities, filling in for the injured Zach Britton as the closer. Darren O'Day is also on the disabled list. He's got a hyperextended elbow. He's a big part of that bullpen.
Supposed to go and throw right around the corner, so they're expecting that it won't be that long for him to get back.
Big night for Austin Wynns, the Orioles rookie catcher. Made his big league debut on Tuesday against the Mets and got a base hit in his first game, and tonight he threw out his first base runner and he hit his first big league home run. Orioles have hit 3 homers in this game. The only run for the Blue Jays also came on a home run. He got jammed and fights it off. Jay Happ will go to the mound tomorrow in the second game of this 4-game series. Andrew Kashner will be his mound opponent, the right-hander. Happ at 7-3, Kashner at 2-7. He's had another good start to his season. Boy, Wynns really gets jammed on that one, and Smoke will flip to 0 for the second out.
That looked like a defensive swing as O gets way in that kitchen with that fastball. He was robbed of a hit in the 5th inning before that home run, and now watch this ball just come right in off the hands. A defensive swing for sure.
Joey Rickard took over defensively in left field. He goes after the first pitch and hits it high in the air, shallow right. Goodchick makes the catch. Good inning for O. 3 up, 3 down, no problem. But the Blue Jays have managed just 1 run on 7 hits, and they've got to come up with 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th. They'll do it against Brad Brock. It all starts at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time. That's Blue Jays Central, and we'll follow that about 30 minutes later. Game 2 of this 4-game series. It'll be Jay Happ looking for his 100th career win and his 8th win of the season against Andrew Kashner, the big right-hander for the Orioles. Game 2 of this 4-game series. New pitcher into the ball game is the closer, Brad Brock.
They've played their share of 1-run games, the Baltimore Orioles. This is their 3rd straight game that they're going to use Brock. They had a 2-1 win at New York where Brock came in and got the save. They followed that up yesterday with a 1-0 win. Brad got the save in that one. He's 10 for 11 in saves this season. He's 4 for 5 in saves in his career versus the Blue Jays. So the 3rd straight day for Brock, trying to nail it down with a 3-run lead.
Henrys Morales has had another 2-hit game. He had 2 hits in the game last night against the Yankees. He was 2 for 5. He's 2 for 3 so far tonight. Average up over 200. Driven in the air to left. Joey Rickard over into the power alley, makes the catch. 1 out. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osmek. Thank you very much, Ivanka. That's all coming up right after this ball game, so stay tuned for that. Luke Maile, the catcher, 0 for 2 with a walk. Blue Jays had 2 hits in the 7th inning and would strand a pair of base runners. It's the only inning when they've had 2 hits in the same inning. They had a couple of walks and a single in the 4th inning, but would strand a pair. Teoscar Hernandez was thrown out at second on the back end of a strike him out, throw him out double play. First 2 outs of that 4th inning.
Another tough night for the Jays, hitting with runners in scoring position. 0 for 5. That's what was going so well for him the month of April. Coming up with those clutch hits. This guy at the plate made a habit of it every night.
And Maile draws the walk, second walk that he has drawn tonight. A 1-out walk here in the 9th, and John Gibbons again taking a seat in the front row. Ledmus Diaz, he is 0 for 3.
He is hunting first pitch.
And he gets it. That's going to get down and bounce up against the wall. Maile is headed for third. Diaz is going to second, and Joey Rickard, he made a bad choice right there. Not throwing the ball directly to second base. Diaz moves into second on the double.
Yes, he did make a mistake. Diaz is always looking for that first pitch fastball, gets it, rips it to left field. Luke Maile was going to make it first to third on this hard hit ball. But if Rickard comes up and throws to second base, I think he holds Diaz at first base to keep the double play in order. But because he throws to third, that allows Diaz to be heads up and get himself into scoring position.
Joey Rickard just into the game defensively in left field. He took over for Trey Mancini. So Randall Grichuk now with 2 in scoring position. Pat mentioned the Blue Jays are 0 for 5 so far tonight with runners in scoring position. Randall's 2 for 3. Good block by Wynns.
Brock will take the ball anytime. Mentioned this is his 3rd straight game that he is being used. There's Devin Travis. He's come out on deck. He has grabbed a bat. He will hit for Gio Urshela.
Popped him out of play. Back over the screen. Randall has not had a 3-hit game this season. He's only had 4 2-hit games.
Got to make contact. You can see he's choked up now with a count of 1-1 after that last swing. He's trying to get a little bit more contact with that barrel.
Pretty good looking pitch. It is called in Grichuk's favor. 2 balls and a strike.
Take advantage of that. Instead of 1-2, it's 2-1.
Checked his swing, and no, he went around, according to Tom Woodring, the first base umpire. That was a changeup.
He's got a good one. Real good changeup. Let's see. Yeah.
That's a swing. 2-2 now. Brock didn't like what he was getting from his catcher, so he stepped off and will get a new series of signs. Line drive, get down, ball, that's down and up against the wall. That's going to score 2. Grichuk's on his way to second. Here's the slide. He's in there, safe. Randall Grichuk with his 3rd hit of the night drives in a pair, and it's a 1-run game.
Another good 2-strike approach. Cut down the swing, put it in play. You never know what's going to happen. And good things happen. A 1-out walk to Maile, a double by Diaz, and then Grichuk follows that with this base hit. Fastball up and away. You can see he's not trying to pull that ball. Just slice it down the right field line for a couple of runs. Blue Jays have cut into that lead and making it interesting here in the ninth.
Maile scores right behind him. Diaz, as Gretzky has his first 3-hit game of the season. A single and 2 doubles. Buck Showalter going to get somebody going down in the Orioles bullpen. Gio Urshela was the scheduled batter, but Devin Travis will come off the bench and pinch hit for Urshela. A tying run in scoring position. Travis 1 for 7 against Brad Brock.
I think you have to keep reminding yourself if you're pinch hitting, and Devin hasn't done a lot of that in his career, is remember you've got 3 swings. Take advantage of all 3 swings.
He is 1 for 2 as a pinch hitter this season with an RBI. Blue Jays need a base hit. Miguel Castro loosening up, the former Blue Jay.
There's
Got a
one
good pitch to hit.
There was a good pitch to hit, and he went up there swinging. That one's to get you loose.
Both Pilar and Travis did not start, nor did Russell Martin. 3 of the regulars out of the lineup to start this game after 13 innings last night. Two and 1. Travis just .217 batting with runners in scoring position. Way outside. 3 and 1. Kevin Pilar is on deck. He pinch hit in the 8th inning against Richard Blyer. Granderson started.
Got a chance to get a good pitch here. 3 and 1. The outfield in left field not real deep for Devin Travis.
3 and 2. Fastball on the inside corner.
There's the outfield, and that's Rickard in left field. Jones is shallow also in center field, anticipating a base hit to center field.
Outside, ball 4. So Travis draws the walk as the pinch hitter, and that'll bring Kevin Pilar to the plate. Brad Brock has been very good as the closer, filling in for the injured Zach Britton. He's 10 for 11. Kevin Pilar 3 for 15 against Brad Brock in his career.
It's almost like Brock didn't want to have anything to do with Travis with first base open. Still just 1 out.
2 walks in the inning. Breaking ball for strike 1. Pilar not happy. Looked like it could have been down for ball.
Yeah, and he's asking a home plate umpire about that. Now, you can't let that affect this at bat right here. Okay, you thought maybe that one went the other way. Still got to concentrate and come up with a base hit.
Swinging a drive, lined into center. Get down! They're going to send Grichuk home, and he's in there with a slide. Kevin Pilar has tied it up.
How about this rally by the Blue Jays? That's why I wanted to mention the outfielder's so shallow. That ball was hit hard, but Grichuk got a good read on it. You got to take a chance. Ball hit hard. He just took off. He got a good read. He knew that the outfielder was shallow. Not much on the throw as Grichuk ties it with that scamper home.
Randall Grichuk, a 3-hit night, and he scores the tying run. The Blue Jays have come back with 3 in the 9th to tie it up. Kevin Pillar with the RBI single. Run at second. He delivers a big hit.
Four-seam fastball. That's right there. 0-1 pitch. Tell you what, he smoked that ball to center field. Grichuk got a good read on the ball out at second base. He scores the tying run. That base hit gave the Blue Jays a chance now to win it with a base hit.
Well, Grichuk with his first 3-hit game of the season. A couple of doubles, and he scores the tying run. Now the former Blue Jay, Miguel Castro, comes into the ball game.
He has pitched a lot in 22 games, multiple innings. He's had a good record, 1-1 with a 286 earned run average. Those 34 2/3 innings pitched are the 8th most among major league relievers. Buck Showalter goes to him a lot, and he's asking him now to shut down this rally.
Got a big fastball. He averages 95 miles an hour with his heater. And Ervis Solarte is 0 for 4. Goes after the first pitch. Castro was signed as a free agent by the Blue Jays in 2011. And then he was part of that big trade to Colorado. In return, the Blue Jays get Troy Tulowitzki.
Tulowitzki gave up a couple of good young arms in Jeff Hoffman and Castro. Did work out for him in Colorado, and he ended up in Baltimore, and he's started some games for him. He's pitched some big innings out of the pen. He's got a big arm.
He's just 23 years old. He broke with the Blue Jays a couple of years ago.
So he was 20. That was 2015, right? Wow.
Solarte with a 1-1 count. He can win it. A little bit late on that fastball, 97 miles an hour. See Danny Barnes loosening up for the Jays. He would just as soon not pitch tonight. Travis, he represents the winning run. He's at second. Ground ball. Scope comes after it, shovels to Machado, back to first, double play. Solarte grounds into an inning-ending double play. But Kevin Pillar caps off a 3-run 9th-inning rally with an RBI single to drive home Randall Grichuk. Grichuk drove home 2 with a double, his 3rd hit of the night. It's 4-4 as we go to the 10th.
and 10th. The Orioles will still be in town. 1 o'clock starts for both days. You can join pregame outside gates 5 and 10 for inflatables, activities, and after the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases. BlueJays.com for tickets, and for now, Buck, to extras.
Absolutely. We know how to do this. We did it last night. Extra innings. Danny Barnes will come in to start the top of the 10th.
6th pitcher of the night for the Blue Jays, 5th reliever. There's Devin Travis, who's taken over at second base. Solarte slides over to third base. Danny Barnes pitched in yesterday's game.
So Danny Barnes misses with the first pitch to Adam Jones. Jones is 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Popped him up. Playable out in front of home plate. Solarte, the third baseman, calls for it. I mean, that was up there forever. Jones is 0 for 5. Danny Barnes gets the first man here in the top of the 10th.
Dangerous part of the lineup for the Baltimore Orioles. Jones, Machado, and Valencia. Always helps to get that first out of the inning.
First pitch strikes, first outs of innings. Huge. So Manny Machado has singled in 3 official at-bats. He had a sacrifice fly, drove in the first run of the ball game. In the first inning, his RBI was his 50th of the season. Machado now 2 behind J.D. Martinez for the lead in the American League in RBIs.
Only J.D. Martinez has hit more home runs since May the 10th than this guy.
J.D. Martinez is the first to 20 home runs in the American League. Bryce Harper leads the National League with 18. Machado has 18. Jose Ramirez and Mike Trout both have 19 home runs. Machado goes after that high hitter.
Yeah, and he was thinking 19th home run right there, trying to untie this ball game. He's become such a good hitter. It's not just about power and production. He can hit the ball all over the place. Single to center field in the 6th inning. Had a sacrifice fly to right field.
Changeup he wouldn't bite. Manny Machado's name is all over the leaderboard offensively. Came into the game 6th in on-base percentage, just ahead of Justin Smoke. Machado called out on strikes. That's Barksdale rings him up. Machado thought it was outside, but it's a big strikeout for Danny Barnes.
Oh, is it ever a dangerous hitter? Watch him paint with that changeup down and away.
Over the plate.
Oh, right on the corner. That is almost an unhittable pitch. And I think if Manny goes back and looks at that shot from overhead, he'll agree that was a strike.
Danny Valencia wails at that first changeup. Valencia hit the first of 2 home runs in the 8th inning. Orioles went back-to-back off John Axford in the 8th inning. And that made it a 4-1 game. But the Blue Jays tied it up. A little bit of a cutter. Pitch that Barnes has thrown more frequently this year.
He was very good in yesterday's game. An inning. It only took him 15 pitches to get out of that inning. He had a strikeout and a walk.
0-2 to Valencia. Here Castro was able to get out of the bottom of the 9th inning, get the double play off the bat of Solarte. If Barnes can get out of it, the Blue Jays will have the big bats in their order coming up next in the bottom of the 10th. Hernandez, Smoke, and Morales. Todd Woodring down at first has had plenty of those check swing calls tonight.
He's been busy, hasn't he? Been good. That didn't look like a swing. Valencia winding up, and yeah, he held up.
He didn't hold up on that one. Barnes with a big strikeout. Danny Barnes, 1-2-3 in the top of the ninth with a pair of strikeouts against Machado and then Valencia. Hernandez, Smoke, and Morales against Castro. Will lead things off for the Blue Jays. He's got 9 home runs this season, and since he was called up last September, he leads the Blue Jays in that category.
How about that? That's a great trivia question right there. Who leads the Blue Jays since last September? It's none other than Teoscar Hernandez. He's got that home run type of cut also. Natural uppercut type of swing. When he hits the ball and he connects to it, it can go a long way.
Fastball up and in for ball 1. Hernandez is 1 for 3. He has walked and singled. A little bit too high, had a good cut, but it was upstairs.
You got to tell yourself in this situation, as Ryan Tepera starts to get loose down in the bullpen, you're not going to try and hit the ball far. Just try and make some solid contact. Castro will supply the power because he throws so hard. What you don't want to do is overswing. You start to get long in your swing and you can't catch it out in front.
Went after a borderline pitch. It's now a full count. The hitting stars for the Blue Jays tonight. Rando Grichuk with 3 hits. He scored the winning or the tying run when Kevin Pillar delivered a 1-out single in the 9th. Pillar 1 for 2. He entered the game in the 8th inning as a pinch hitter. Base hit. Rickard trying to cut it off. Hernandez with a big turn. He's headed for second. He slides in, safe. What an effort by Hernandez. He busted it out of the box. He thought too from the moment he hit it. Rickard cut it off, but by the time his throw is to second, it's too late.
Great time to challenge right there. You got a left-handed throwing left fielder. whose momentum is going away from second base. You got to think too right here. That's right what he does. Watch the turn at first base. And then when the throw is just off the line a little bit, that's going to allow Teoscar to get into scoring position. He made that all by himself. We mentioned how the Baltimore Orioles outfielders have so many outfield assists, 13 of them, second in the American League. So he challenges a good arm and comes out a winner.
Justin Smoak takes one in the dirt for ball one. Smokey is 0 for 4 to this point. But he came into the game with a .381 batting average with runners in scoring position.
Right man at the right spot if they'll pitch to him. I think if you're the Baltimore Orioles, you got to think about pitching around him with first base open.
Not close, 2-0. Kendrys Morales is on deck. He's been swinging the bat much better lately. He's got 2 more hits tonight, and he lined out a third time.
Yeah, Buck just said put him on first base. He knows he doesn't want Justin Smoak to beat him.
So Smoak will be given the intentional pass, and that'll bring Morales to the plate. Morales, of course, a double play candidate. The Blue Jays have hit into 3 double plays tonight. 1 in the 4th, a strike him out, throw him out. An inning ending double play in the 5th, an inning ending double play in the 9th. 2 on, nobody out. The Blue Jays have had 3 walk-off wins this season. They are 5-1 in extra inning games. Their first loss was last night, 3-0 in 13. Good rip.
Way to let it go. If you're the runner at second base, Teoscar Hernandez, take a look around. See where the outfield is playing Kendrys Morales, and you can get a good jump. You can see him looking out, see where Adam Jones is playing. Rickard, I think you want to play it safe on any hard hit ball in the outfield with nobody out.
Off the plate. That changeup, 2-1 now. Morales has had 5 career walk-off home runs. He hit 2 last year for the Blue Jays.
Change up.
Morales lined to left field in the 2nd, had a squibber base hit in the 4th, and had a crisp base hit to right in the 7th. 2 for 4 to this point. Ball 3. Teoscar Hernandez at second with a leadoff double. Smoak was given the intentional walk. Morales with a full count against Miguel Castro. He got him. Swing and a miss. Morales strikes out. That's the first out of the inning.
Cannot advance the runners. It's a fastball up and away. You just can't come up with it. That's why strikeouts are so tough. Like when they happen, just cannot advance those runners where a fly ball could win it for them.
Luke Manley, the catcher, has walked twice. He's 0 for 2. He scored a run in the 9th. Goes after the first pitch. 0-1. Way outside. Now it's a ball and a strike. Castro looked back at the rubber as if he may have caught his spikes delivering that last pitch.
You can see Jonathan Schoop sneaking in behind there, trying to keep Hernandez close to the bag, just in case there's a base hit into the outfield.
The outfield is still shallow. Jones in center, and especially Gentry in right. They're very shallow.
Take a chance to get that runner at the plate. Those instructions are coming from the bench of the Orioles for Schoop to keep Hernandez closer to the bag so he can't get a good jump.
Fouled it back. Two balls and two strikes, the Blue Jays catcher. The Jays are down to one player on their bench, Russ Martin. They have used Pilar, they have used Travis as pinch hitters. They're both in the game.
Ooh.
Emergency swing.
Emergency. A little slider that Luke was able to foul off at the last second. Watch how deep this ball gets, and he keeps the at bat alive by just nicking it and keeping it the at bat alive.
Good take. Fastball moved off the plate, up and in. So Castro has worked the count to 3-2. Runners at first and second, one out.
He's been a hero a few times this year. Late in ball games. Here's another chance for Luke Maile to win it.
Good fastball. Castro gets another big strikeout. He struck out Morales, and now he gets Maile.
That's 94 miles an hour with some movement to it also.
Good sink. Watch how this ball goes down. Two-seam fastball with late movement. So now it's up to Aledmus Diaz. He had a double in that 3-run ninth. Ground ball foul outside of third. The Blue Jays had a leadoff double in the third and couldn't score. They have a leadoff double here in the 10th, and now they are batting with the hitter 0-2 and 2 outs. Diaz behind in the count. Morales struck out. Maile struck out. The Blue Jays all of a sudden have 11 hits.
Yeah, they've out-hit the Orioles 11-7. Now with 2 outs, Teoscar's off on the crack of the bat.
Foul back.
If you're the runner at second base and you see with 2 strikes that ball is going to be a strike, just take off. That'll really give you a jump to try and score on a base hit.
Swinging a drive. Get down, ball. This is going to win it. Here comes Hernandez, and the Blue Jays will walk off the Orioles. Aledmus Diaz with a 2-strike, 2-out RBI base hit, and the Blue Jays win it in 10.
How about that for never say die for the Blue Jays? They enter the 9th inning down by 3 runs. They're facing a guy who's been really tough on them in the past, in Brad Brock. They score 3 runs to send it to extra innings. And Aledmys Diaz wins it for him with a base hit to left field. Blue Jays snap that losing streak and take one, steal one from the Baltimore Orioles.
5 runs on 12 hits. They scored 3 in the bottom of the 9th to tie it, and they win it in the bottom of the 10th. It's their 4th walk-off win of the season. Aledmys Diaz had a big double in the 9th inning, and he wins it with an RBI single here in the 10th.
That RBI, or excuse me, that double in the 9th inning was on a fastball, and I think the word's getting around that he can turn on anybody's fastball. So Castro goes to his second best pitch, the slider, and that ball is ripped into left field by Diaz. Blue Jays, happy campers. Watch him get the head out and pull that ball to left field. They missed him defensively, and they miss him offensively now. Good to have him back in the lineup.
Teoscar Hernandez with a leadoff double, a hustle double. He got himself into scoring position, and Aledmys Diaz delivers the game-winning hit. And you can see a much-needed base hit. The Blue Jays have been struggling to win ball games, and they win the first of 4 here against the Orioles. The Blue Jays win it 5-4 on 12 hits. Miguel Castro got a double play to end the 9th inning and keep it a tie game, but here the slider hung in the inside part of the plate.
Looked like he might get out of it after a double and an intentional walk, 2 strikeouts, but Diaz crosses them all up with that game winner, and the Blue Jays get a much needed win.
Well, let's check in with Arash Madani down on the field.
Well, Buck, it was Diaz who got it done with the walk-off, and he got it done in the 9th inning, too. What happened in those last 2 at-bats that was so critical for you?
¿Qué fue lo que pasó en los últimos 2 turnos que fue crítico así para el juego y para ti?
No, creo que un poco más de concentración, ¿no? Un poco más agresivo en la zona. Y nada, vi unos picheos que estaban en la zona de atrás y fue agresivo con ellos y salieron los resultados.
I think the concentration has to be a little bit on point. It has to be higher. And I got good pitches to hit. I was aggressive, and then they left some sliders over the plate, and I put good wood on it.
With 2 outs and 2 strikes and 2 on, what's the approach there in extras?
2 y 2, 2 outs. ¿Cuál es tu approach ahí cuando estás bateando?
Yo creo que concentramos un poco más, ¿no? Tratar de pegar la bola hacia medio del terreno y, bueno, pude ver que el lighter se quedó un poco medio adentro y solamente puse la maceta del bate en la bola, ¿no? Creo que fue lo que estaba pensando.
I just try to make contact. I'm just trying to stay in the middle of the field. He left the slider a little bit higher the pitch before. He came back with it. It was middle in, and I just put wood on it.
It was yesterday, Aledmys, that Kevin Pillar said, look, if we want results, we have to go get them. We can't hang our heads in this clubhouse. What has to happen for more results like this, for more offense like this team had tonight?
Ayer Pilar dijo que para ser mejor hay que trabajar más fuerte, hay que hacerlo mejor. ¿Qué es lo que esta ofensiva necesita para que eso justamente pase?
Yo creo que tener un mejor approach, ¿no? Creo que ser un poco más selectivo con los picheos. Creo que tenemos muy buenos bateadores en este equipo, tener la confianza que nosotros podemos hacer el trabajo y concentrarnos en hacer buenos swings y los resultados van a venir.
I think we have a good team. I think we just got to put better at bats. We got to grind. We got to stay concentrated. And we got to just swing at better pitches, not just go out of the zone. And I think we should be okay with that.
Guys, thanks. Buck?
Thank you very much, Arash. There's the hero of the ball game. Aledmys Diaz with a game-winning home run. The Blue Jays winning in extra innings. Thanks for watching, folks. Stay tuned. Here's Sportsnet Central with Ken and Ivanka.